Is KT McFarland, former President Trump's deputy national security advisor, author of Revolution, Trump, Washington, and We the People. KT, what do you think of Trey's report? We're going to be hearing from President Biden supposedly in this hour about a ceasefire. Could it be that even if we get reports of a ceasefire, it could be broken just as quickly as it's agreed to?
Yeah, but this is winding down. I mean, if it's not a ceasefire that holds today, it'll maybe holds tomorrow. I mean, the Israelis have accomplished their objectives here. You know, Hamas started this fight, but Israel had some requirements that it had to do. One was to take out these tunnels, which are not little tiny tunnels. These tunnels underground is like a huge underground subway system where where Hamas makes its weapons, where its senior military leadership is. So Israel had to sort of neutralize those, and then also take out the senior Hamas terrorist military leaders, and it looks like they've done both of those things.
So bottom line is Israel did what they intended to do at the start. So they've pretty much wrapped up their end of the operation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that they're getting close to wrapping it up, whether it's today or tomorrow. And Israel can't continue to do this because at a certain point, the world public opinion starts shifting. And as you pointed out, I mean, there are now anti-Semitic attacks in Europe and in the United States, anti-Israel demonstrations. So Israel needs to sort of finish it off quickly and then get on with a ceasefire.
Well, let's talk about what precipitated these attacks, in particular, the change in the administration here in the United States. We saw all of these agreements that were made, and the agreements and decisions made by the Trump administration you served in reversed as soon as Biden came in, not only regarding the economy, regarding our border with Mexico, but also regarding the Middle East. You had refinancing of the corrupt Palestinian Authority, used to be the PLO, which the Trump administration had cut off. You have re-engaging with the Iranians, which didn't get us very far in the past, and of course Trump pulled out of that agreement. We're re-engaging with them, and they're behind a lot of these attacks. They supply the missiles that are being lobbed at Israel. And then we have the scoffing at the Abraham Accords, which John Kerry, after all, in 2017 said would never get done. He was dead wrong. They did get done. Israel made deals with the Arab world. It's appeasement over and over and over again of our enemies. And we actually had a piece in the New York Sun called the President Biden's War. They said this is what appeasement looks like. And the war we are seeing today is the kind of fruit that appeasement bears. It is not hard to imagine that it'll come to be known as the Biden War, triggered not by his intentions, but by his folly. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. You know, the Trump administration, we understood that you were never going to start a peace process through the Palestinians. You were only going to start a peace process with other countries in the region, and eventually the Palestinians would have to do it. So what did we do? We realized that the Palestinians had three sources for their weapons, their financial support, their war-making ability, and we shut those down. One was the United States aid to the Hamas leadership, which never went to the people. It only went to make war. The other was that the Gulf Arab states would support the Palestinians. Well, the Abraham Accords had a side effect, not just peace between Israel and the Arabs, but they marginalized the Palestinians. And then finally, by sanctioning Iran's economy, Iran didn't have the resources to supply the terrorists in the Palestinian territories with weapons and financial support. So we have this all sewn up. And then the Biden administration comes in, partially held hostage by the far left of the Democrat Party, which hates Israel. And then their neuralgic sort of hatred of anything Trump did. They reversed all this. So what predictably happened? Another war in the Middle East.
KT, stay with us. We've got another story to report on that's related to this. I want to get your reaction to it. Back at home, the nation is seeing a stunning uptick in hate crimes, at least one of which seems directly related to the troubles in the Middle East. Fox's Jonathan Hunt is in L.A. with that story. Jonathan.
David, the deadly battle in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas is now leading to tensions and violence right here on American streets. Take a look at this. This was Tuesday night in Los Angeles. Pro-Palestinian protesters driving around in a caravan of vehicles shouting anti-Israeli slogans. As the protesters passed a restaurant in West Hollywood, according to witnesses, they threw bottles or glasses towards some of those dining outside. A group of the protesters then got out of their vehicles and attacked the diners. One man who was with the group initially attacked picked up a metal pole and swung it at the pro-Palestinian group. That man was then pushed against a car and repeatedly punched and kicked. Eric Garcetti, mayor of Los Angeles, said on Twitter yesterday, quote, "We as a city condemn last night's organized anti-Semitic attack. Jewish Angelenos, like all residents, should always feel safe in our city. LAPD is investigating this assault as a hate crime." The LAPD is studying the attack video and others like this, in which a man wearing what appears to be traditional Orthodox Jewish clothing runs across a parking lot, followed by people in vehicles apparently flying Palestinian flags. The Anti-Defamation League says anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. have risen by almost 50% since the latest fighting in Israel and Gaza began. I've spoken to Jewish and Palestinian friends here. They all condemn the violence that happened at the restaurant. And one Jewish friend told me, quote, "It's very frightening. People are hoping the police step up." No arrests have yet been made. David?
Jonathan, thank you very much. So, KT, your reaction to this, is it at all related to some of the rhetoric coming out of Washington, particularly from the far left in the Democratic Party, that condemn Israel as terrorists and refuse to use that word terrorism when speaking about Hamas?
Yeah, I mean, it's predictably, it's a cause and effect. It's the Looney left of the Democrat Party, which has they have far more influence and power than they should. Normally, under circumstances, there's a small number of people that support this Looney left, and yet they have outsized power because the Washington and the Congress and in the House and in the Senate and even Biden's White House, they have the Democrats have such a narrow majority that they need the Looney left to support them, or they're going to have they have to give up power. And so I think that you're
Okay, it sounds like we have lost KT McFarland, but KT, thank you very much if you can hear us in the ethosphere. Meanwhile,